Yo, your boy's gone and done it again. I've given away brand new PS5s. I've given away all the latest trainers. But look what I've got to give away this week. A brand new iPhone 12. This could be yours. All you got to do is go along to AFTV.mobi, go to AFTV Picks and enter our free competition. Yes, it's free. Go and do that. Go head to head against me and the iPhone 12 could be yours. Get involved right now. Go to AFTV.mobi. The link is in the description and great way to start the new year. Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And today, the window is officially open. Yeah, it opened today, not yesterday, today. You would have thought it would have opened on the 1st of January, but it opens today. Reason being is that the window this year, as I explained yesterday, is closing in February, on Monday, the 2nd of February, because they don't want it to close on a Sunday. Is closing on that Monday, right? So it's a little bit longer than normal. Of course, in this time of coronavirus and stuff like that, it's a more significant window than normal. There's teams that have got more injuries and stuff like that. Also, there's just not that money flowing around that you normally seen in years gone by. So it's going to be a really, really interesting transfer window, in particular for our great club, Arsenal Football Club. What are we going to do? What business are we going to get done in this transfer window? We've already moved on Kolasinac. He's joined Schalke on loan, and I think this is going to be a window of loans. A bit like last year, a window of a lot of loan deals. I don't think there's going to be massive amount of money spraying about, but I think intelligent loan deals and maybe a gamble on a player that you think to yourself, yeah, for that amount of money, got to go for it. And I kind of said about this yesterday. You look at the impact. If you do get a really good signing in January, it can make a big impact on your season. Remember when we bought in Aubameyang? He hit the ground running, was brilliant for us, and has been brilliant for us, well, up until this season. He's been brilliant for us, right? You look at last January, Manchester United in turmoil. They bring in Bruno Fernandes, completely turns around the season for them. And look, they're like joint top in the league now. Could you believe that? But he's been one of the main components of that turnaround. He brought a new vibe to the place. Can Arsenal do that by getting a sign-in this transfer window? There's been lots of problems so far this season. Can there be somebody who can come in who can provide that spark to this Arsenal team? Of course, before we can do that, there's more likely players to be moving out. And as I said already, Kolasinac has gone. The one that I'm really interested to find out what's going to happen to is it's not even the Ozil one. It's William Saliba. What is going to happen with William Saliba? Now, seeing some reports out today coming out of France from the French publication L'Equipe, where they've stated that Saliba's representatives met with Arsenal last week to discuss a loan deal away in January, which has been spoken about a lot. But also what was discussed was a permanent move away, which this is a surprise, a permanent move away. And I'm like, wow, permanent move away from Arsenal? A player who's still only 19, that we bought, a season and a half ago for 15 million, rising up to 27 million on a 5-year deal. He hasn't played a minute of first-team football yet for Arsenal. There's been various sort of things said about, he's had some issues with his parents passing away, finding it lonely in the country, but not a minute of game time for Arsenal since he joined the club. Of course, he was on loan to Saint Etienne last season. It was a bit of a season where it was sort of stop-start because he suffered quite a bad injury and he was out. Then he came back. And so far, despite our defensive issues, he's not been deemed good enough to get a start for Arsenal. And this is very worrying situation. I feel so sorry for Saliba. You know, I keep looking at him thinking, what, is he this bad? Is he that bad? Or is it that Arsenal have not really explained the whole circumstances around what's going on with Saliba good enough? But certainly, if he went on a permanent deal, geez, that would be saying to you either one of two things. Number one, he's not rated at all by Arteta. Or number two, he's just had enough and he just wants to get out of the club because he's just the way he's been treated. And I remember when he first joined the club, I remember being at the game, Arsenal versus Watford, walking up the terraces to my seat and spotting Saliba. I remember he was sat there, he had a yellow hoodie, sat there. I was like, is that Saliba? A couple of people goes, Robbie, that's Saliba, that's Saliba. Went over, said hello to him, seemed like a really nice person, really tall guy. And you could see by the look on his face, he was glad to be an Arsenal player and had come to the game to sit amongst the fans. That for me was significant because what he wanted to do was embrace himself with the fans. And then the guy's not even had a start at Arsenal. Now, I still think it's more likely to be a loan. I just can't see Arsenal take, because if they sell him now, what, they ain't going to get 27 million for him. Because whoever's buying him is going to say, well, yeah, listen, you don't even rate him. Why am I paying 27 million for him? I'll give you 10 or something like that. So they take a huge loss on him. Surely it's within their interest to get this kid back into the squad or into the team. So I still think it will be a loan. Where he goes is going to be something that's going to be really interesting. Are they going to send him back to France? I heard that Arsenal are not dead keen on that. They'd rather him go to somewhere in the Premier League or even in the Championship. But imagine if he went in the Premier League and then played really, really well. How embarrassing would that be? I mean, it's just yet another one of those really strange, ridiculous type decisions that have happened at Arsenal this season. It's been an utter mess. Talking of mess, Mesut Ozil. Now, I think there's a lot of hope within Arsenal that he moves on in January. But at the moment, it's not looking likely. There's not really any clubs that have come in and offered him any money to move on. He's been quite adamant that he's staying until the end of his contract, which is in the summer. And Mikel Arteta's quotes on it were really interesting. He was asked whether, you know, Ozil will still figure in Arsenal's team. You know, if he doesn't leave in this January. And Arteta's quotes, and these are his quotes. He says, "We'll see what happens in the transfer window, and we'll assess the situation at the end." You have to have respect for a player's contract. What you can do is try to be open with them and tell them your intentions, the role they have in the team, and why that is. At the end, they are entitled to make the decision in their lives because they have a contract here. Some would like to move because they're not playing, and some would like to stay. At the end, that is something we cannot decide. So basically, what he seems to be saying there, Mikel Arteta, is that they're not going to try to attempt to pay off Mesut Ozil, because there's been a lot of talk about that. You know, Arsenal just pay him off the last 6 months of his contract and let him leave. By the sounds of that, they're not going to let him. They're not going to pay that off. They want him to leave. He ain't going to leave. So what happens if he's still here come the end of January? Do they put him in the squad, or they just leave him there to rot until the summer? It's, again, another crazy situation at Arsenal that I just never thought I'd see our club in. You know, the Saliba situation, this Ozil situation, it's just unbelievable what's going on. But we've got, I guess, a month to see what happens in the Ozil situation. Let's see how it all plays out. But at the moment, nobody moving in either direction. And, you know, it doesn't seem like they're going to bring him back into the fold. So what's going to happen with Mesut Ozil? What's going to happen with Socrates? Socrates has been heavily linked with a move away this January. He's 32 now. He's not getting any game time. You can tell that Arteta's never really fancied him from day one. He came in. He's been playing him at right back. He never really played him as a centre back. But he's reportedly close to agreeing a deal to join Fenerbahce, and I think that would be a good signing for him. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that one plays out. But yeah, could be on his way to Fenerbahce this January. Definitely a player that Arsenal are looking to move on. So let's see how that one pans out. And Rob Holden is on the verge of a new contract. He's been a real beneficiary of the chaos at Arsenal and all the injuries amongst all the various different centre-backs. He's played a lot of football for Arsenal this season, and Arsenal are said to be willing to agree a new long-term contract for him. He's got 1.5 years left on his current deal, which he signed in 2016. He's been there for a while. Remember when we signed him from Bolton, I think it's about 2.5 million. He's 25 now, Rob Holding. So you can look on him as quite a senior player, no longer that real young player. And he's getting a lot of game time. And I have to say, it's been a bit of a mixed season. He started off very shaky, but he has been, especially over the last few games, he's looked good. And, remember at the start of the season, he was on the verge of making a move away. He was going to Newcastle on loan. There's still a load of other clubs interested in taking him on loan. It does make sense to extend his contract because, he's either going to be, even if you go and buy players, going to be a vital squad player, or if not, and you do move him on, you got him on a long-term contract, you can get some good money for him. So he looks to be the main guy in that right-sided centre-back position. Still no room for Saliba, but Rob Holding, a lot of faith being put in him by the manager, and looks like he's on the way to a brand new contract. Now, what about Emi Buendia of Norwich? Lots said about this guy. 24, we spoke about him yesterday. This season already, he's had 6 goals and 7 assists for Norwich, and has been one of the stars for Norwich over the past couple of seasons. Argentinian, really, really good creative midfielder. Creative in the midfield, but also really hard-working and tenacious. And that's what Mikel Arteta likes about him. And likes in that sort of position. He wants a player that's not just going to be creative, because if that's all he wanted, I'm sure he'd just play Ozil. But he wants a player that, even in that position nowadays, the modern day sort of attacking midfielder, stroke creative midfielder, you've got to do your fair share of work getting back and helping out in midfield. And Buendia is one of those type of players. Now, Norwich will not want to let him go. They're top of the championship right now. They've got a game against Barnsley today. Buendia is a very important part of their team, still only young at 24, and they don't want to let him go. They've slapped a £25 million fee on him. There was a lot of talk, a couple of weeks ago that he could go for as little as 15 million. But apparently Norwich are saying 25 million. They are willing to sell, but only if they got about £25 million for him. That would be the only way they'd let him go. Now, should Arsenal go in and make a move for him, they are scouting him extensively. There'll be no doubt that they'll have all eyes on him today in that game against Barnsley to see how he's getting on. Could this be a player that Arsenal could move for this transfer window? And should it be a player that Arsenal should be going to get? I would really like to hear from you guys in the comments. Buendia, should we get him or not? As I keep saying, James here on AFTV, massive admirer of Buendia. We've also been linked with another attacking midfielder today. This time it's Ryan Christie of Celtic. He's 25, attacking midfielder, and Arsenal said to be very interested in him. He's had 11 assists so far this season, and he's one of the key players in the Scotland team, the same Scotland team that qualified for the Euros. He was an integral part of that. Obviously, he used to play with Kieran Tierney. I've seen all these reports today that really make me laugh when they're saying that, almost like they're saying Tierney's been dispatched to speak to Ryan Christie and, persuade him to come. Now, I don't know if it's gone that far, but obviously if, they were looking to bring him in, the fact that Tierney's come to London and has had such a successful time of it, would be a big influence on maybe getting somebody like a Ryan Christie to come to Arsenal. Is Ryan Christie good enough? I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen him playing for Scotland. I've seen little bits at Celtic. There's a lot of clubs interested in him. Leicester, of course, Brendan Rodgers was manager of Leicester. Ryan Christie would have played under him. He used to play with Maddison as well. And actually, when he played with Maddison, the talk used to be that he was the better of the two. Now, if he's better than Maddison, get him right now, you know. But Newcastle also interested in him. Southampton, Brighton. There's quite a lot of clubs interested in Ryan Christie. He is in the last year of his contract as well. So that means that he wouldn't cost a king's ransom to get either. Could this be a player that Arsenal could move for in this January transfer window? It wouldn't be a loan deal. It would be a permanent deal if they moved. Again, going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. Linked today as well with a centre-back. His name is Roger Ibanez. He's a 22-year-old Brazilian who currently plays for Roma. He's actually on loan at Roma. He's actually an Atalanta player, but he's on loan from Roma until the summer, a one-year deal. And he's been getting rave reviews over there in Serie A. Been playing really, really well. And there's a lot of clubs looking at him. Liverpool was said to be the first club really interested in him, looking at him as a sort of Van Dijk type replacement. Also, they've had issues with injuries, Matip and stuff like that. They're said to be at the front of the queue for him. But there's also clubs like PSG, Leicester, Spurs, Everton. All of them have been listed of clubs being interested in him. Whether that's true or not, who knows? It does push up the valuation. I think if he stays at Roma, the deal is at the end of the season that they can purchase him for 8 million, but he's currently being valued at 35 million. You know, so wow, that's a lot of money for a guy who's having a breakout season. It's going to be really, really interesting to see where he goes. I still doubt that it would be a move by Arsenal for him, but he is gathering lots of interest and is being spoken about as a player of interest at Arsenal, and we know that they are interested in players. Probably if we do go for a centre-back now, I still feel that it's probably going to be more a summer move. You know, still got a lot of centre-backs to get rid of. You know, still Mustafi and all players like that are going to have to move out. David Luiz will be at the end of his deal come the end of the summer. I think then will be the time when Arsenal will be looking to invest a lot of money in a centre-back more than now in the January transfer window. And at the end of the day, if they're going to invest £35 million in Ibanez, why not keep older Saliba? You know what I mean? Oh, man. Arsene Wenger, just before I get into your comments, Arsene Wenger's been saying that well, he was asked a question. He was doing an interview for the Men's in Blazers podcast, and they asked him the question. They said, "Would you go back to Arsenal?" And he said, "Listen, if I'm needed, I'll go back and help them, but I'm not expecting to go back." It's been reported like he's saying, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'll come back." That's not exactly how it went down. Let's get into some of your comments. Danzy says, "Buendia is a good player, but he's a championship kind of player." Now, of course, that will be the thing. Would he be able to make the transition? Well, I say make the transition. Remember, he was playing in the Premier League. But would he be good enough for Arsenal? That would be the thing. This guy says, if Saliba leaves for good, it will be a guaranteed Gnabry situation again. The poor guy hasn't even had a real chance to prove himself. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. He's not had a chance to prove himself. And this is why, I don't know, I just think there needs to be better communication right now with the fans about this situation. You know, it just doesn't sit right with me. I've got a super chat here. I'm trying to get up onto the screen. I can't quite get it up onto the screen, but it's by D Herx. Thank you very much for the super chat, D Herx. He says, "I think we should go for Buendia. Nothing wrong with championship players. Imagine if we snapped up Grealish back when he was in the championship." Yeah, that's a good one. We'd be sitting on a gold mine right now. That's a good one, D Herx. That's a good, you know, that's you make a great point with that. You know, there are players that have come up from the championship. You know, me and DT were doing a podcast the other day, and he was pointing out, you know, players like Harry Maguire, who went for £80 million. You know what I mean? You know, he was in the championship with Hull. You know, Maddison was in the championship with Norwich. Great player. Would you not pay like 50, 60 million pound for him now? And like you said there, Grealish. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's all about getting it right, isn't it? Adam says, I think we treated Saliba poorly. Any news on a backup goalkeeper? And he says, Buendia, it's Buendia, actually, right? Buendia in. No news on a backup goalkeeper. That's an interesting situation because I know you shouldn't judge somebody off of one performance. But then I'm not really judging it off of one. I'm judging it off of what I've seen of Runarsson so far. I'm not too sure, again, if he's ready. I mean, he's had his chance, isn't it, to play. Why can't we see Saliba? Stupid Bacon says Arsenal has to be lucky to beat West Brom. West Brom drew at the Etihad and Anfield. Arsenal should be able to beat West Brom, but it'll be a tricky, and 25 million would be a lot for Buendia. But I'd take it, I think he's saying there. Listen, West Brom, yes, they did get a draw. I don't know if did they get a draw at the Etihad? I know they got a draw at Anfield, but they did get beat 5-0 in their last game as well. And they are second from bottom in the table. We're hoping that Arsenal can go and get a deal. Barry says, who is your celebrity crush? Hey, listen, man, I'm telling you that. This is about football right now. Maybe when I do the Q&A, we'll do it then. Dupe T says Arteta has accepted the disrespect Xhaka was has shown to the fans. Saliba gets angry, rightfully so, because he was rejected the chance to play in the cup final, and he is frozen out. Arteta out. Well, we don't know if that's the reason, Dupe. We don't know if that's the reason. I don't think you can. Yeah, we just don't know. That's the problem. Mazimil says Arsenal are one of the worst run clubs in the league at the moment. All this dilemma with Saliba, Ozil, and most players is just not acceptable at the club. If Saliba leaves permanently, that's a shame for Arsenal. It'd be very embarrassing, wouldn't it? If he left on a permanent deal, how embarrassing would that be? NB Guna fan for life says some of our fan base are clowns, always turning up their nose at players from the championship. There's a guarantee. There's genuine talent in the league. Eze, of course, who went to QPR, Zaha, Ings, Maddison, Ben Rama. Yeah, he looks a good player. West Ham at the moment. He said all talent from the championship. You could add into that Robertson, who was at Hull previously. Abdullah says Saliba play under 23 or played in the under 23s. He was awful. They don't want people to see it and try to sell him at his value. Well, listen, that's a rumor that he had a game and he didn't play. So, do you know the thing is about it is right? Is that you can be in the under 23s. And you can be feeling very disgruntled and thinking to yourself, I came here to play first team football, and maybe you ain't put in the right performances. That could be the case, but is he that bad that he can't even get a look in a Carabao Cup game or something like that? Will be interesting. Well, no, it won't be. I was about to say, it'd be interesting to see if he'd play in the FA Cup, but then we're going to send him out on loan. So we wouldn't even get a chance to see him in the FA Cup. Mr. Celtic 12. Hope you got news for me on Christie, right? With that name, Mr. Celtic 12. Obviously, you know you're Celtic. He says, Robbie, it was Callum McGregor that was said to be better than Maddison. Christie shoot 40 times a game. Talented footballer, but thinks he's better than he is. Ooh. Or is that you just saying that because now he might be leaving, Mr. Celtic? All right, but I take listen, you watch him every week, not me. So I'm gonna go with what you're saying, bro. Yeah, Mama says, thoughts on Michael Olise from Reading. Only has an 8 million release clause and is showing amazing potential. He's having a great season. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets snapped up. Not really sure it's the type of player that we're looking for at the moment. We're looking for more players in that midfield era. area. Tenzin says, what about Forsberg? I remember a few seasons ago, Arsenal were very interested in Forsberg, but I don't think at the moment that's a player that we're interested in. Jake says, Robbie, what do you think of Matthias Klick from Leeds? Good player. And Pereira from West Brom, good player as well. Pereira not having as good a season as he did last year. He was excellent in the Championship. Klick is having a solid season. No way Leeds will sell Klick at the moment. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, bro. My apologies in advance. Kyriakos, he says, I think Arteta has inherited a mess, personality-wise. Many people commenting don't appreciate how difficult it is with these overpaid players, many who are demotivated and nearing the end of their contracts. That's a great point. You've got a lot of players there that are demotivated, want to move on, know that they haven't got a chance of getting into the team. So I agree with you there. It's not an easy task right now for Mikel Arteta. Nero says Arteta let Martinez go, and by the way, he's the best goalkeeper in the league right now. He's made a couple of great saves against United yesterday. Did you see that United penalty, by the way? Now this is common knowledge. Now he's letting Saliba go. And he's obviously not very, very happy. Again, I feel that the communication with regards to what's going on Saliba has not been good enough. And this is what's caused all this this problem, amongst Arsenal fans. Alex says, what do you think of about Alioski from Leeds? Again, a good player. Good player. He ain't for sale, though, is he? Batafemi Gomez, remember him? Right. He says, Robbie, thoughts on Yuri Nater from Shakhtar Donetsk, already scored 10 goals, will be an excellent backup for the right wing in any case. Cheap value too. I don't really know a lot about him, because to be honest with you right now, and I think it's another one of these made-up names, is it? Yeah, right. So you're not going to catch me out with these little made-up names and oh, bloody hell. People just waste their time on here, don't they? Football Genius says, Isco is a class player. The reason we want to sell him is because our squad is second to none in depth. So he's looking by his avatar there. He's a Real Madrid fan. I said it before. I'd take Isco, man. I would take Isco. I know people have been saying things like, look, he looks out of shape and stuff like that. I'd have him. I'd have him at Arsenal. I think he's quality, and I'd take him on loan. I don't know what you guys think. Jonathan SC says, Saliba out, but Holden gets a new contract. This club is rotten, Robbie. Well, I understand the Holden contract thing. I really do. I really do think, Holden, he deserves. I get that he should be getting a new contract. Even if they decided to sell him, it would be, it's worth giving him a new contract. You get more money for him. So I understand that, but it's the Saliba situation. I think it's the lack of communication on this whole situation that have made things worse. It's made things. It's just sometimes you've got to communicate with the fans. And you obviously you can't give them the full insight of what's going on, but you've got to give them more information than what we've had so far, because everybody's just looking on it and thinking this kid just looks like a kid that's being persecuted at the moment for, doing what, and is he that bad? And he's another talented player, Guendouzi gone out on loan, then now Saliba going out on loan. I mean, were these buys this horrendous? What's been going on with the buys? David Arsenal says, Buendia, please. Isco is a lazy signing, or get a kid from the academy that can progress and love the club. Well, I'm saying, to me, Isco, in my opinion, and I respect your opinion, David, it wouldn't be a lazy signing, because I feel that Isco is proven quality, and if you bought him in on loan, I wouldn't buy him on a permanent deal. I'd want to see more of him, but if you bought him in on loan, he could do all right. Spanish, Arteta Spanish as well, so there'd be no communication issues. Ceballos is in the squad as well. Quality player, proven. Why not? You know, if you can get him on a loan, for me, Buendia, maybe if he doesn't work out, you go back and get Buendia at the end of the season. You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking on it. But I don't know what you guys think. DRM says Willian, Bellerin, Xhaka, David Luiz, Mustafi, etc. So useless. We need to get rid of the deadwood as soon as possible. Ibuka says Isco will be another Willian. I don't know, man. I don't think so. Rob Chicken says would take Ericsson if Buendia, Isco, Brandt, and Awar weren't possible. I think he's asking me, would you take Ericsson? Again, if it's a loan deal, yeah. If it was a loan deal, I would take Ericsson, yeah, if it was a loan deal. Gooners for Life said, Robbie, thoughts on Ben Foster as a backup keeper? His YouTube is class. You know what? I would definitely have Ben Foster as a backup keeper. I think he's still got a lot in him, even though he's an older keeper. He's experienced. I think he always makes some brilliant saves. Yes, that would be the perfect backup keeper for Arsenal, in my opinion. Christopher Mayer says, what about Samir from Lille? Good player, Samir, but as I sort of said, I think I said this yesterday, to me, he's too similar to Partey. He's the same type of, sort of enforcer stroke box-to-box midfielder. And we already got that in Partey, and Partey hopefully should be back from injury. I think he'll be ready to play next week. So it wouldn't make sense to me, because you're going and buying a player with the profile of this player that we already have. So it wouldn't make no sense to me. Dre Lifestyle, can't get this one up on the screen, but he says the worst thing to happen to our transfer window was beating Chelsea. The board will think we have enough. You know what? A mate of mine said that as well. Manco says, why not go in for Neto instead of these dead players? Neto would be a very, very expensive deal, and there's no way Wolves would let him go unless we paid a king's ransom for him right now. So I couldn't see that happening, but he is a quality player, and he's getting better, and he's young. Eniola says, Don Robbie out of isolation today. Yes, I am out of isolation. I just went for a walk, man. It was so nice, man. So nice. I am out of self-isolation today. I'm free, and I'm feeling good, man. It's been tough. It's been tough, man, this COVID thing. And I just urge everybody to follow all of the rules and regs. You can still say I've still got a little bit of a, still like complete, well, it has, the infection's gone, but you still got a slight bit of cold. Mr. Celtic 12 says, also told you about KT. Don't diss Eddie. Better than Lacquer. Christie, don't get me wrong, is a class signing, but maybe more a Leeds or Leicester player now. So, all right, Mr. Celtic is scouting for us up there. Any Rangers players you can tell us about? No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Mr. Celtic. I'm only joking, right? I'm going to do a couple more. Let's get this one here. Hector, he says, hi, Rob. How do we get in contact regarding work for AFTV? Was late for the presenter role, but we're told to contact you again. All right. Well, we are going to be looking for some other roles as the year goes along. So you're just going to have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah. And Alejandro says, Robbie, have you lost your sense of smell taste? What's this got to do with transfers? Also, can you explain what type of content will be on your new channel? Hey, look out for the new channel, man. New channel coming. And I'm not going to tell you yet. It's going to be a bit of a... All I can say is football stroke sports, all right? And it's going to be great. And we've got some great things lined up for it. Been put back a bit because of my, because I got this illness. But it is coming out this month. And I didn't lose my sense of smell and taste, by the way. I know that's quite a common thing, but luckily I didn't lose those two. Let's get a few more. You know what? Thank you very much, by the way, for all the comments, man. There's just so many of them. I really, really appreciate the way you guys get involved with the show. Temp says, Buendia will be successful at Arsenal. You're pursuing the right player. Isco, less of that, he says. Beat West Brom by many goals. Goal differentials matter. Vamos, Mikel. He says, come on, you Gunners. That's going to be it will be great to win the game by loads of goals, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game this evening, and hopefully we can get a result. Died by the lag says, don't sign Diego Costa. He will be a B-Tech Lacazette. Yes, Diego Costa's available on a free. I'd get him, but I know everyone else is cutting and saying no. I backup player to come off the bench, Arsenal for Life says Buendia, no, he's not worth 25 million. More like 15 million for Christie, yes. 3 goals and 11 assists. He's not going to cost us much, 10 million. Ibanez isn't worth it. They're asking 30 million for him. He's worth 20 million. You sound like you work for you work for the Arsenal finance team. Barca and Real Madrid says, hello, Robbie. Another Real Madrid fan here. Isco is still class. And when he gets on as a sub for us, he's not bad. We just have too many great midfielders at the moment. That's why. 4 times Champions League winner he is. Exactly, man. I don't get, me personally, Isco, if Isco's there, I know I would have liked Isco 2 years ago. But to me, if there's a possibility of bringing Isco in on loan, for me, that's an absolute no-brainer. That's just my opinion. It's a no-brainer. I don't know what you guys think, but it's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to do a couple of super chats here. I can't get up on the stream. Mike Strada says, watching from Houston. Big Robbie, top 4 on the way. Top 4? I don't know, man. But big up Houston, Texas, man. Place that I've been to. Really, really nice place. And Bring the Ruckus says, hi. Big up Bring the Ruckus. Gooners for Life says, Robbie, what about Todd Cantwell? Again, a very good player. Surprised that he's still, again, in the champion. How many good players have Norwich got and they still went down? Surprised. He's. I know he was injured and he's come back from injury, but I'm still surprised that he's a championship player because he impressed me even more than Buendia last season. And let's get Bradley Phillips. He says, Bellerin out. Tavernier in from Rangers. Scored a few goals, which we don't see from our defenders doing. Well, it's a bit easier. No disrespect to the league up there in Scotland. It's a bit easier to score against, Livingston than it is against Liverpool. It's just saying. Listen, thank you very much to everybody today for watching the show. Thank you, everybody. Great numbers on yesterday's show. Great numbers again, surpassed today on today's show. Don't forget AFTV picks, right? You can go along to AFTV picks. The link is in your description. Enter for free. We're giving away a brand new iPhone 12 today. Also, you can share that £1,000 pot. You've seen people over the past few weeks. They've won PS5s. We're giving away 2 of those. They've won all those trainers, Last week, a guy, he came on, he won 500 quid just like that. Get involved right now. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget, tonight, we're going to be all over the West Brom game. We've got our watch-along, me, DT, and Lee. It's a little bit reduced because of we're still coming out at the end of the COVID thing. But we're going to be doing that. We've got James and Cecil with the match build-up. Make sure you check that out. They really break down the last game and this game and what to expect. Then, as I said, we're going to be doing the starting 11 as well. It's going to be interesting to see what the starting 11 is tonight. Are they going to go with Aubameyang or are they going to go with Lacazette? Will Martinelli start? That's going to be really... Will there be changes or will he stick with what's done well for us over the last couple of games? Going to be really interested. About an hour before the game, check us out on AFTV. We'll be going through the starting 11. And then, of course, after the watch-along and after the game, the girls... Charlene and Pippa will be taking all of your comments, so get those into them, focusing on the game. And of course, we'll be back in the morning with Transfer Daily. leaving you with this trailer for my new channel coming out.